Hi everyone. This is our first audio update thing for Super Lesbian Animal RPG. If you haven't heard my voice before, I'm Bobby, and I'm joined today by my boyfriend and Super Lesbian Animal RPG's now lead NPC designer, Anthony Field.
Hello. Good to see you guys again.
You can't see them.
Well, good to be speaking.
We've only
speaking
done,
to the audience.
It's not again because this is the first time we're
It's
doing
good to be
this.
speaking to the audience that has been kind of paying attention to us on Tumblr. Been seeing the posts, been seeing what we've been working on, and you guys might know me at !man tumblr.com. That's kind of my thing. I get linked to a lot from Bobby's blog.
Nice plug.
Well, no worries.
So this is just a casual thing. We're gonna talk about some NPCs because we'll use this to talk about kind of whatever we've been working on.
Right.
But we've showed off so many new characters in the trailer, which I'm so happy that people have seen them and liked them, and that the trailer is finally done, so I can have that off my back. Let's start talking about. I think these were the first NPCs you designed for the game.
So
the Paladins.
So basically, the Paladins were at the start of the production of the game. I'd say a little bit into it. There was not much involvement on my part. Realistically, it was something that I had my own ideas. I had my own stuff. I was like, I'm going to do my own thing, and I really wanted to kind of try and work on my own thing. But over time, I just felt too invested, too interested, being in the same household, being sort of so close to it all the time.
We always work in the same room.
We're in the same room.
So I'm literally 4 feet away from Anthony while I'm working on the game, and he's always,
And you get, I get sent a lot of images. I get sent a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, like right away. I'm like, it's like hot off the press, and a lot of music. And that stuff sort of obviously is going to inspire me. The Dog Paladins as a whole, just conceptually, before we talk about one at a time, I guess, the Dog Paladins as a whole were me trying to really cement what my heart was telling me about the game and what I really wanted to see in Greenridge, what I wanted to have be my first jab into the game, to really impress Bobby, to really show that I was really into it. I was really invested, and I really wanted some cool fantasy-esque characters that could really capture the design and capture the elements of the game that made it so special to Bobby. And I wanted to prove that. I really wanted to prove that with these characters. So they're possibly, out of all the characters I have, the most colorful, in the sense of they're very diverse, they're very dynamic, they're very sort of fantasy with that sort of campy excellence that Bobby does. That's sort of that ambiance they provide with the whole game. And to be quite honest, if you ever think, well, why dogs, Anthony? Why 3 dogs? Well, Bobby likes dogs, so I knew that I would get free points. I knew that I would get free points if they were dogs.
See, I didn't have any dogs in the game. I was thinking about making Jodie a dog, but that was I hadn't designed her yet.
Honestly, I want to start with Provence.
Okay.
Because Provence is actually the first character I did. I really wanted to make her sort of very visible. You could look at her and you go, wow, it's almost like she looks like a dumb billboard. She looks like a very a thumb. She's just this.
She looks like a thumb.
She looks like this thumb out in the middle of this town. But the thing is, she's okay with that. She's okay looking kind of goofy. She's okay looking kind of just a little over the top, because I think she really wants to embody that spirit of I'm going to dress the way I want. I'm going to dress what makes me feel powerful. I'm going to dress what makes me feel important. And that's that for her. The big thing for me with this one was the plate skirt, almost like the plate dress. Conceptually, I really just like the idea of almost this drapery that was sort of all made out of a metal. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like a very flowy, or a very still retain that girliness or that traditional feminist, but also she's obviously, just by her tone and demeanor, this very level-headed, very trying her best to assume responsibility kind of pose, kind of attitude and demeanor. Didn't want her to seem like she was very tough on people, but did want to show that she deserved an ounce of respect, or she wanted to try to command respect from other people for what she tries to do for the town, which is, protect people and show people that they're safe and that no matter what, she's going to be the idiot that's standing up for them, no matter what. The next character that came along was Holly.
Everyone's
Holly
favorite.
is a big fan favorite, which I'm not really surprised. And I mean fan favorite in the sense that what I've seen, people love Holly. Provence is probably the least talked about, which is okay because again, it's not really surprising. Holly is big. She's lovable. She's tough. She's supposed to be kind of a very visible. She carries the group.
Mm-hmm.
She
sometimes literally.
Literally. I, drawing this character, had no shyness about what I wanted her to be. I wanted her to be, visibly fat, visibly large. I wasn't really worried about, any of that at all. I was I want her to be as big as possible without it being, over the top or some sort of weird, oh, look, it's such paid attention to kind of thing. It's no. She's just very big. Obviously, she just wants to be very big. I did this in a lot of ways. I made her arms very big. I made her midsection very big. I mean, everything about her. But the thing, things even the hat, right? Oh. It's her little plate hat on her head. Everything leans to the fact that she's huge. She's a big character.
See, I love the helmet because I think the helmet is too small for literally any character.
No, no one could wear that. Yeah, exactly.
Her head is the same size as Rhett's.
Yeah.
But she's still wearing that tiny helmet.
Everything about it is, it's almost it's supposed to be some sort of baseball cap. No one's really going to wear that. But she puts on her head just to sort of symbolize her size. And I think that when it came to everything about her, I wanted that sort of character that you would see in cartoons that was, you don't really get to know all the cards in their hand. That's why I went with the kind of covering the eyes look, because you don't really get to know. She's always smiling. She's always kind of bubbly, but she's never really going to give you her whole expression, because if she did that, you know a bit too much. You would really know where she's going with it. If she's going to pull you into a bear hug, strangle you half to death, if she's going to pick you up, or if she's going to just turn around and walk away and kind of ignore whatever you're going on about. She is a lover, definitely. Of the whole group.
I mean, she's got a heart on her
She's
tabard.
the lover. She's the one who's supposed to be the one who stretches out her hand, but not in a sense of justice, duty, all this stuff. It's more the fact that she's just there because she's a good person. She wants to do good, and she wants people to know that, people out there care.
Of course, Anthony wanted to kind of make it funny where the really big, huge, muscular character is the healer. And does the least fighting.
Now there's actually, realistically, all of them kind of represent that when it comes to being a very aggressive damage, or being a very protective damage, or being an associative like a healer. Because when it comes to games like World of Warcraft, generally you're going to have specializations within the game that are going to be defensive or offensive or, assisting. And that's kind of what I thought as a 3 dynamic. It's perfect. You kind of get every element of what a paladin should be.
And how funny it is that you mentioned the specs in WoW, because you named these characters after the paladin specs in WoW, and I hate you.
Yeah. Initially, so initially how it worked was Holly was a holy paladin, and then Rhett, that's just straight up retribution paladin from World of Warcraft. But the original name for Provence, which Bobby didn't really let me go with, was Prottweiler. I wanted to call her Lady Prottweiler. And Bobby's like, but she's not a Rottweiler. And I go, well, it's okay. Maybe her father was a Rottweiler, or it's a family name. But Bobby, said no.
I'm telling Anthony, no one else in the game really has animal names. I'm not really going for the whole Zootopia. Everyone's got a pun name.
I, on the other hand, was.
Well, Anthony
definitely was.
He loves that. So I let him with some of them. Since she's a healer, I thought it would be nice to kind of contrast her with Melody a lot.
Right.
So I've kind of given her
this is more Bobby's expression.
I've made her kind of the most important one out of the 3. They're all recurring characters in the game, but Holly is Melody's friend, and she kind of is now that she's a paladin, she's kind of looking up to Holly as like a role model, kind of, but she's also like kind of intimidated because Holly is like a total opposite of her. So I thought that would be a nice contrast where Melody's like she's like trying to get advice from Holly on like what to do, and Holly's like giving her like advice she totally cannot follow at all.
So Rhett is actually also relatively popular. A lot of people tend to found to like Rhett.
I've got a lot of comments saying that people have crushes on Rhett.
Crushes on Rhett, interested in Rhett. I'm like, okay. So with Rhett, basically my inspiration was basically just let me try to draw the scrappiest dog I can even muster while still giving her some very noticeable. I really wanted to give her some killer eyelashes and some great eyebrows. So because I wanted to give her those really thick eyebrows. And I kind of liked it. I kind of really liked what I went with, where I kind of had that rounded face with the little dog snout, and I felt like I hadn't done that. In fact, Holly and Provence both have kind of pointier noses, more like hunter snouts. But Rhett doesn't. Actually has a very soft face, has a very kind of a puppy-like look to her with those, big puppy dog eyes that are, one doesn't have eyes and one has more of those very tired, serious eyes. So Rhett is friendly, to say the least. She's definitely the one you'd think you could approach the easiest. She's definitely the one you think put off in the sense that you think that, okay, well, I've made her the cute small one, but I'm going to give her a big sword. She is actually the oldest and the most experienced of all three of these.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because I assumed the opposite. I thought that Provence was the oldest and Rhett was the youngest, but it's actually the total opposite of that.
Absolutely, yeah. She is the leader, Provence, of these three. But it's only because Rhett really doesn't want to be. She is older. She is more experienced. She's done more for the town. But she's just like, it's not her game. She likes having a big sword. She likes swinging said big sword. And she likes knowing that it's like, wow, I am a protector. And when danger's afoot, I get to throw myself in the fray. That's all she wants in life. Design-wise, I'd say I like the thought of big greaves. On a small character. So I really liked the idea of really big characters having those plate leggings. Mm-hmm. But I was like, what if I do it on a really small, what if Mario had plate leggings? So it's like those little stunty legs, but they're all plate. And then her shoulders and her arms was funny. I was drawing them thinking, I'm doing some sort of pseudo cross thing or a holy, like a healer. But, I kept thinking of X-Men. I kept thinking of X-Men. I was doing the shoulders.
Especially because you gave her a blue and gold outfit.
I gave her a blue and gold outfit. I was drawing it, and I really was like, did I just make a Cyclops? Did I just make what did I do? The biggest thing for Rhett for sure was the blade. I just really wanted a funny blade. That was it. I thought I want to give her a big sword, but what can I do that would be good for the sword? I could just give her a big sword. I'm like, of course, dog bones. I could just do dog bones, whatever. It's a world where I'm totally free to do this. It's kind of jokey. People are thinking, what's your thought process behind it? It's 3 a.m. You're sitting there and you're drawing the character and you're going, that would be hilarious. It's I'm going to draw dog bones on her sword. Overall, for the Paladins, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I was able to do the dynamic where it's kind of big to small, but I sort of challenged it in some regards. And I was happy that I was able to do Paladins just in general, because Paladins are a big thing for me.
Yeah, he really likes those Paladins.
And I think that they're all, personality-wise, in the game where you're going to see them, and I think that their attitude and, what their role is in the game, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about these relatively minor characters, except for maybe Holly, but they're fun, they're good.
Right.
And I like them. And they are dogs.
And they're dogs, which is really the most important part.
So, we're going to move on, I guess, to Mona the librarian. The game, there's a library, and there was a library in the original game, but there was one NPC in it. So this time I'm okay, I'm going to make this actually look like a real public library. Because I thought it'd be funny, having, the party in, their adventurer gear running around, this regular-ass small town library, making them look like LARPers or something. Um, and I was like, oh, well, if the library is like a little expanded, then I probably need some kind of librarian character. And Anthony was like, can I make her a mouse?
Initially, my thoughts for the character were, and if you see the designs, kind of a more fix-it kind of type, I guess, or some sort of more positive character in the game, where they would be more of like a helpful person in the library. They'd be really active. They'd be climbing all around. They've been going up ladders and staircases to organize books. A real Dewey Decimal System matron. And I kind of went with that, or kind of went initially with that.
And
I gave her like a jumpsuit. I gave her like a big belt. I had like tools and everything.
What we got was Katja Hackrange with a stack of books in her head.
Yeah, so basically,
I guess the climbing up and down ladders thing kind of makes sense now. Why she had the books on her head?
Yes.
So okay, yeah.
I was kind of one of the things where her hands would always be like full.
Because you never explained that to me. You just kind of showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, you took. Okay, so there's this character. She's a librarian, so she has books. Where am I going to put the books? On her head. Okay, that's how you can tell she's a librarian.
Bobby just wasn't really vibing on that, because I think that what they wanted for the character was a bit more like of a dry, almost like a placid character, like someone who is like not really that involved or wanting to be that involved with our main characters.
The way I saw it was like Claire is causing so much trouble at the library that the character would have to kind of hate Claire.
And like a character like that would have, I mean, like just everything about it wouldn't make sense for them to hate, like to be so bitter.
So Anthony kind of went back, made her more modern and like normal looking. So like, you know, she's just like got a sweater vest, she's got like a skirt, and she's got socks and sandals, which you can't see because she's sitting behind a desk. But
the whole attitude, the whole design for her was all that really mattered was above the belt, basically, because she's behind a desk. The real thing that like led towards me going, oh, I'll just do a skirt, is socks and sandals. I thought she'd be like a total like somebody who just has given up, like doesn't really isn't interested in like impressing anyone. So she's gonna throw on the most comfortable, like whatever fits her kind of thing.
I thought it would be really funny if she had like this blank expression, but the whole time she's like, what the fuck do you guys want?
She's
like,
very...
Can you like talk to Claire and like get her to like get her shit out of the library?
Rather than it being a tense standoff kind of thing where she's Gendo Ikari and the characters are walking in and she's like, she's got her hands folded and she's like, you're here? And like she's angry. Rather, Bobby felt like, I don't want to cause that tension. I want it to be even like more tense in the sense that you like, she's got nothing going on in her face.
She's like,
it's all in her words.
She's just like totally blunt. She's not hiding anything.
It's very to her character, like I've said 100 times over. She doesn't have to impress anyone, nor does she have to hide anything. She just like is honest. So she completely upfront tells it how it is in her opinion. So she's not going to BS anything.
So this is the other character that Anthony has designed that we're talking about today. This is Faith, Jodie's girlfriend, and Faith was, so the other characters were like kind of more Anthony's idea, but Faith was like, I gave Anthony a lot of stipulations to work with. I was very difficult.
With Faith, I had brought up Faith to Bobby actually a lot. I think Bobby was sort of like, not slacking on it, but just didn't really have a point of attack.
I kind of wanted to design Faith myself.
Right.
But I was having such a hard time kind of like really motivating myself to just like get it done. And I was like, Anthony, why don't you take a shot at it?
It actually started out so again, you're like, you design it. I'm suddenly like, cool, I can design Faith. That's such an instrumental character. This is the first character I felt like it was really, really core. Because the dog paladins, it's like, yeah, they're going to be important. Mona, it's like, yeah, you're going to see her, you're going to see her.
Almost everything with Mona is optional.
Pretty much.
So, no, I think literally, you do not have to talk to her to beat the game, I don't think. But, like, Faith, she's, like, basically a main character. Like, she is, like, possibly the most important supporting character in the game.
Right. So it was a big it was a really big task for me. This is the first time I was like, I I really want to make this work. And I really want a character that's going to look good to me, but like really blow Bobby away. And at first I was like, so Bobby, tell me, what do you want for the character? I was like, I really wanted every possible sponge. I just wanted to totally sponge up anything I could for the character to make it success on the first try. And Bobby, at the time, was so like lost with what Faith was supposed to be that Bobby was like, I'm just like throwing out animals. I'm throwing out like concepts. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll go with something angelic or like a wizardly or like a traditional wizard or maybe like a very lax wizard, like with a half robe or something. We'll make her a bird. We'll make her a fish.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
make her anything.
I don't know about a fish, but
just anything. I was like a bug, like whatever.
I had like a lot of different ideas for her for animals. Like I was thinking, at first I kind of thought I might make her a lion.
Okay.
I
do remember that.
Yeah, because Jodie's a tiger, so I was like, all right, well,
big cats.
But I thought like because like. The thing about a lot of characters in the game is that they're kind of like conflicting things or like multiple, they kind of have like multiple different angles they're going at. So it's like,
they're not
like take Claire, like she's a witch, but she's like a cow. That's not like a magical animal. And she's also small, even though she's a cow. She's like 5 feet tall, you know, she's like skinny. So it's like, there's a lot of characters that are kind of like conflicting things. But Faith, I thought we should go with like, an inherently like magical creature, right. So it's like, no, this is like totally where she belongs. She was like born to do this.
What was incredibly helpful, yeah, we eventually got to the point where we're like, we want a really magical creature. Now this came to the point where I was like, a magical creature, where I thought, what's a really magical creature? My biggest thing for sure was I kept driving at this, but I was like, it didn't really work. I wanted to make her like a dove. Or like some sort of really, really like angelic bird, I guess. I really wanted to go with a bird. I just felt like...
Yeah, see, I was kind of thinking about making her a griffin.
Or that, yeah, I remember that as well. That was like kind of a mythic bird.
Yeah, yeah. Or kind of going off the line thing, I also thought about making her like a chimera.
I remember
but that kind of seemed too complicated too like... I mean, you know, we could have like a chimera character who isn't evil, but it's like... It's kind of like a... It gives off the wrong vibe for her. Because I kind of wanted her to be very, like, graceful and, like, elegant. Because, like, I kind of pictured her as, like, she'd have this tower, and she's, like, Rapunzel living up in the tower or whatever, kind of.
Right, exactly.
So she's kind of got, like, a royal vibe, but it's not, like, oh, she's, like, born into this. It's like, no, she, like, worked
It was very
to get where
difficult to comprehend or to concise what exactly Faith was. Like, she was magical, but it wasn't like, and she was royal, but she wasn't silver spoon, and she was a hardworking, but she was also sort of detached from people in a way. She sort of, again, that tower syndrome where she was sort of up there most of the time. She's a difficult character. Overall, she's a very difficult character in a sense that she was not easy to sell, nor easy to like just create in one go. It took a bit. But I feel like what we got at the end, and I think what really helped was we were really keen. I think Bobby, because we for Bobby this, we didn't. No, neither of us wanted to say unicorn. We didn't.
Yeah,
we were like,
because I mean, we both have such a history with My Little Pony. We didn't want it to be like. We were kind of like
we were straying from horse characters in general.
A horse character, like a unicorn character. But I was like, well, maybe if we just made her a unicorn. But, like, made her really different from the My Little Pony thing. Like, gave her, like, a horse face.
Right.
Like, a long, pointy horn. And, like, Anthony's concept art doesn't have it, but she has, like, the tail, like, the last unicorn tail.
Right, exactly.
Kind of.
So I was sitting there going, like, cool, we'll make her a unicorn. We kind of decided on this to a degree. I had drawn a bird. We were still kind of tossed up for the bird or the unicorn thing. And with the unicorn design, it all started with the face. It was all the face. I feel like the face saved me because it allowed me to go from the face down, and I just kind of like, I just felt like it was right. It was almost like I was just chiseling a block. Started at the head, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I get it. And I kept going down. Her face was exactly the shape I wanted it to be. It's long. It's very, like, poignant. It's very visible, kind of, like, outwardly. And it sort of matches the horn, at least in the drawing. At least in my initial drawing. Where she had a very long face and a very long horn. And I felt like that was exactly what I wanted. Exactly what we were talking about. Where it's like, she's regal. She's very, very visible. She sort of talks to the sky. She's very, like, open. But not in the sense that she's better than you. It's not like she's got her chin up to you. It's like she's speaking in a sense that there's wonder, there's excitement. Very magical. Very, very open to ideas and identity. So with that, the face, it was very easy. I went down. There was some difficulty with me trying to figure out if I wanted to give her a cloak, which was sort of like interesting. I thought of a full body cloak of some sort, so she looked like a draped wizard. I thought of like a back cloak that just kind of was like a cape. But I thought, no, a cape wouldn't really be right. It'd be too long. It'd be too obnoxious. It would be too over the top for a character like this. She's a lot more reserved. So I gave her kind of a shawl, almost like a shawl that you throw over her shoulders, kind of wrap around. And I loved the fact that I could kind of tie it. I'm like, what's like a thing that could really tie this together? Oh, like some sort of gem, like a diamond or some sort of jewel. That sort of like, again, emphasizes that royalness, emphasizes that sort of like estate, while not necessarily saying, hey, I'm really rich or I'm really like influential. Look at me. It's a simple cloak tied together by something that is very, very impressive. Mm-hmm. And that's it. The rest of her outfit there was a chest plate of sorts or a chest piece that sort of acted as her defense in her chest.
And then she's got those nice, licensed Volcom knee pads.
Yeah, the knee pad. I just wanted something that could break the size of the pants with the drastic shift of the legs without it making too weird.
I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it at first because it was so different from the vision I had in my head. Like, I kind of...
I had to argue for it a little bit.
Yeah, Anthony had to argue for it, because I kind of thought her outfit looked a little too much like Jodie's, but, I mean, they're dating, and they're supposed to kind of be counterparts, so, like, I thought... In the end, I warmed up to it, because it's like, they'd look great together, and I totally need to draw them, like, in some cool action pose together. It's like...
It's the fact that what Bobby was saying earlier, there's contrast in our characters, where it's like, wow, these guys are not necessarily opposites attract, but they're not the same people. Like, they're definitely different, but it's like there's a tying line between characters where you're like, it makes sense they're together. It's believable to me, but they're not clones and they're not opposites attract. They're real. They're real characters.
Yeah, I never want to go with like, oh, they like hate each other, but
completely
actually
different.
They're like so turned on by how they're so different.
Right.
It's like, nah, like they have their differences. Like, Jodie's like, big and strong. She's a little more rough and like face like all proper or whatever. But like they totally see eye to eye on most things.
But they're both the big thing about them is like, well, Jodie is a wild cowboy just out there, kind of like doing her thing, wrangling, not really afraid of not afraid of getting muddy, not afraid of like taking the risks and whatever, and not really like staying back. Yeah, that's Faith's job, and she's more magical, and she's more like about sticking back. But you know what their tying line is? They're responsible. Mm-hmm. They're not scrappy, and they're not like they're not just like going into things without any sort of thought or like cognitive aspect. Mm-hmm. They're smart. They're sort of a lot more of the adult characters.
Yeah, because they're a little older. Like Melanie and Allison are 22, and they're still kind of figuring things out in their lives. They're like, maybe we'll just become adventurers. That might be fun. I don't know. And like Jodie's 23 and Faith is 24, and they totally have things figured out. They're like way more responsible.
They're drawn to each other through the sense that they obviously like each of them has a lot of confidence. They have confidence in their own abilities, and they have confidence in what they do for the world. So like obviously Faith, even looking at her and going like, wow, she's so outgoing, or looking at Jodie and she's so outgoing, she's so like beefy and ripped, and she's so like such a, like, again, a wrangler. She's such a
why do you think
she's such a wrestle. She's such a wrestle and a wrangler. Faith is still like, wow, she really has like no doubts about herself. She doesn't like think about it or think, oh no, I can't do this. She does not believe that Faith or Jodie would have any moment where it's like, I can't take on this challenge. It's like, she will, and she'll find a way. And that draws their love together. That draws a lot more of a poignant love.
So I knew I wanted her to be really magical. I kind of wanted her... It's like Claire is like the kind of amateur witch who's like, trying to make a name for herself, but is like still clearly learning a lot of things, and is like totally irresponsible. I wanted Faith to be like this, like kind of
the weight.
She's like kind of like a battle mage. She's kind of like a red mage, maybe. It's not in any of her art yet, but she does fight with a rapier. And she's like, I thought the cinch was when I realized like I'd make her like the town guardian, because like in the original game, the character she's replacing, she sent you off on the quest in the first place towards the beginning of the game, but then she kind of stayed behind, and it's like, well, what's her reason for staying behind? It's like, okay, well, Faith, I don't want it to just be, oh, well, she's not a good fighter or whatever. It's like, no, she's a great
fighter.
She's
too weak, or she's too cowardly.
Yeah,
like no way.
Like, no, she's like probably the most capable fighter out of any of them. It's just that she's like the town's last line of defense. She's the democratically elected town guardian, because she's so skilled.
If there was truly a moment where there was like bad was occurring, there is no higher power than that people would look towards than Faith. Right. Because she is she's sure of herself, she's sure of her powers, and she's sure of her abilities. And that is what people look towards in a leader, or like look towards in a protector. And the Paladins are definitely that, but they're kind of the day-to-day. Faith is like the overarching, like really, really like trains and lives her whole life for that purpose.
Mm-hmm. I kind of envisioned her with like this long, flowing, kind of straight hair, because I saw like some nice art of unicorns or whatever, and like her outfit, there were like two things I kind of envisioned, because like I saw her as like this cool like battle witch or whatever, and I think my first thought was Shanoa from Castlevania. Which one is that? It's like one of my favorite ones. Which one is it? Oh, Order of Ecclesia. Yeah. I kind of picture her. She's like the main character. She has like this chest plate, but then like a dress that kind of comes down off of it, and like I don't know. I just kind of liked her, and I also, oddly enough, there was an inspiration from Transformers: More Than Meets the Eye, because the character Cyclonus, there's an issue where all the characters who are robots, it's on Earth, so they've like got these holographic human forms that they're kind of blending in with, and Cyclonus is like this like old-fashioned kind of I think like a schoolmarm or something from like the 18th century, like very Victorian, strict, and like this frilly like collar thing, and like that's kind of what I pictured for Faith, like more stern a little, but I guess that didn't really fit her character, like the way I was actually going to write her. And
it would have been, again, it was the balancing the regal, like balancing the regality and the magic feeling and the like trust in her. That was the difficult part. Mm-hmm. It's like, how can she look friendly? How can she look caring but charismatic? Sort of an enigma, sort of like someone who is very wise, but someone who is not above others. How could she look trustworthy and amongst the people, but also obviously command a position that is important, mm-hmm. of someone that is, again, a leader or like a princess of some sort? How can she be so beloved while not being a symbol of like oppression or a symbol of like difficulty or anything, mm-hmm. like that? She should look like, if you took off the clothes, put her in a t-shirt and, baggy pants, she just looks like any other person. Mm-hmm. And I think she kind of is like that. She looks like a very pretty person, but it's like, you take off all the rapier, you take off all the Utna clothing, and
oh god, I think Utna was another inspiration.
Oh, huge.
I forgot to mention that, but I was totally like,
Utna was a massive inspiration for this character overall. Just like the pants, the cape, the weapon of choice, just the unicorn in general, just like everything about it was very Utna-like. And I just felt like it was, if Faith is Utna, then Jodie gets to be High School Rumble or whatever. So
okay, yeah. So that's Faith. She's very good, and I hope everyone loves her. And she's going to be great in the game, and I can't wait to draw more of her. Last but not least, we have a character that Anthony had no role in designing at all. He's pointing. You don't get to leave yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're trapped here. You can't go play Dota or whatever.
Well, they're waiting for me. So.
Why'd you tell him to wait?
I thought it wouldn't take that long.
Oh, with how long-winded you are, I'm gonna have to cut this down. It's like we're gonna go like an hour. Anyway, so this is Noel. I really wanted to have a plant themed character because that's like fun. Like I especially wanted to have them in the trailer because I wanted to establish like no, not all. First of all, not all the characters are girls. This character's non-binary. Second of all, I mean people kind of assume they're a girl because like they're feminine, but they're non-binary. And like I also wanted to show that there'd be a handful of characters who aren't animals in the game. So like I thought it'd be really fun to have this like mysterious plant character out in the woods when they in this like kind of sanctuary area that you'll learn all about in the game. I don't want to spoil everything here, but I took inspiration from like I mean there's like Rosemaster from Cucumber Quest.
While we had while I wasn't really involved too much with this character, I did try to design this character too. I did. I basically tried, like, once I got a few characters in, I got really excited. I'm like, I want to design a lot of characters, which I have, and I still am trying to get more. But the thing is, with this character, I think Bobby really had their own idea. They had a whole folder, and they would show me all these images of, they're like, I know what I want for this character. Here's image number 1, image number 2, image of inspiration.
Yeah, I had like a bunch of different pictures of different plant-themed characters. I had like Plant Man EXE from the Mega Man Battle Network series. I had like a bunch of different like people's OCs or whatever. Some other characters I forget, but I initially envisioned them as having like a succulent on their head, and I almost named them Suck for short. That would have been the worst thing ever. I didn't
live that down.
I didn't actually almost really want to do that, but I thought it would be funny, so I thought about it. But I'm like, no. So then I just went on Tumblr and told everyone I thought about that, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's so funny." But it's like, it would have been that funny. Trust me.
It would have been a thing where you laugh for a sec, and then you're like, everyone has to tag the character Suck.
It's like they walk up and they're like, "Hello, my name is Suck." It's like that's kind of funny, but that's like, oh, this is like an important character, and you have to talk to them a lot, and now their whole existence is a joke, and that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But I think I kind of envisioned that. Like what was it? It was like that sea anemone character from Splatoon, kind of, except like a succulent and like a green body, kind of. I think that's kind of what I thought. But I realized that succulents are hard to draw, especially on pixel art at that size. So I was like, fuck it, they're gonna be a rose. I gave them this like kind of third eye gem thing on their forehead because I thought that would be another cool detail to kind of like show that they're like magical and like weird. Same thing with like the eyes, how they got black eyes with yellow pupils. I think the third eye thing was kind of inspired by a drawing of Espeon I did.
Yeah,
where I kind of stylized it like that.
Where the gem, so it's kind of like, it's really up, I guess, to the viewer, or like really your how you want it to be conveyed to yourself. If it's a gem or if it's like an eye, it's kind of like really up to you.
But then I gave them these like leaves coming out as bangs that kind of cover their face because they're reserved, and you have to like kind of prove that you're trustworthy to them so that they'll actually like talk to you more and give you important information and like help you out. And yeah, for the outfit, I wanted to go for kind of simple, kind of like a kind of like some kind of like adventurer outfit. Like they clearly
kind of makes me think of a school person.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like school shorts. It's kind of like the bag over there.
Well, they've got like a bag. I wanted to kind of.
You haven't drawn them full body, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to convey they've kind of like they forage a lot. They have like they kind of like explore the forest and kind of find any things of value and kind of
that's it, yeah.
Kind of collect things and they're running around with no shoes on because that's kind of like another detail. It's like other kind of wild
forest child.
Yeah.
They don't have any need for shoes.
But I give them the thorns on their hand.
Yeah, the thorns. So what's up with that?
I just thought that would be a cool detail. Like I thought it would like just look neat. And also it would be kind of like, this character is not like weak and helpless. Like the thorns are kind of like
I think it's like a metaphor.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor for how like they kind of look like placid and kind of
Like not that they look like not that interested. It's like they're a total pushover.
like
I
no,
don't
they
think
can take
so.
care of themselves.
Yeah.
They've got like a cloak. I tried a lot of different colors for the cloak, but I wanted to go with like brown for like a nice natural color, even though there's like this forest is weird colors and there's nothing brown. But yeah, and
The character this is one of those characters that again, some characters you have some real difficulties with. This is one of those that, like, I think even Bobby could say, sort of knew what we wanted to be from the start. And, like, there was a lot of inspiration. So, like, the little pieces were like, what should I do? But, like, when it came together, it just made sense, sort of. It just added up correctly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
why
why Noel? Why that name?
Because they needed a name for the longest time, and I'm like, I Google like gender neutral baby names. I always go on baby name websites. They're lifesaver. And they had Noel listed, and I named them literally like a week ago, like right before the trailer came out. It's like, oh shit, it's Christmas time. I'll give them a Christmas name. And they're also like green and like pink, and I kind of use pink in place of red a lot in the game. So it's like, oh, that's almost kind of Christmas colors.
You're not going to notice the stars?
The what?
Stars?
The stars around them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
Does that have to do with the Noel? What's Noel mean?
It's like a Christmas. So we've been talking for like an hour, and I'm going to cut this down. And I hope everyone has enjoyed this.
This is the first of a few, because there's a lot more characters to talk about. Some characters you haven't even seen. I mean, how many characters do I have right now that people haven't even seen?
12 characters.
12, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot more characters than the original game, which is
the town is going to be a lot more lively.
It's not like, here's a town that's like 3 houses. It's like a fucking shitty JRPG palette town shit. There's like 6 people who live here. It's like, nah. It's like, I want it to be like, it's a big town. Well, not like a big town. It's like a small town, but like a realistically sized small town where there's still like a decent amount of people there.
Yeah. I really, my goal, my whole existence in the game, and Bobby has kind of just, by this point, initially, every character I'd make kind of have to make a point to get it into the game, because I think Bobby was a little like, oh, I was going to get around to these characters.
Yeah,
I was going to handle it.
I was going to do it all myself, but it really helps out to have someone who just kind of gives me designs. It's like, here you go. You don't have to think about it.
You don't have to think about
like,
building it from the bottom. Like, you could just draw it yourself.
I got so much on my plate. Like, I mean, it took me like a month like 2 weeks just to design Melody, Allison, and Claire.
Right.
And like a little bit to design Jodie too. So it's like, I don't need to have that for every single little NPC in the game who shows up for like 5 seconds.
And the thing is, I know what you're like. You don't want to make cookie cutter. You want unique characters. You want because you're very colorful. You don't want to like, shell out of that. You want legitimacy. And again, like even this morning, I make characters. And I'm like, here you go. Realistically, yeah, I don't, unless Bobby gives me task, goes, hey, I need this important character. Here you go. Like, make it happen. Then I'm like, okay, I really got to make this important character. A lot of the characters I do on my own are kind of just, hey, you do what you feel like. I go with the concept. I kind of get a backstory, or like, I go, here's what they are in my mind. Whatever you want to do with them, go for it. And a lot of the times that actually kind of works if I can convey it well enough.
Basically, Anthony will like get up early. He'll like have an idea for a character. And then I'll like wake up and he's like, oh hey, I like came up with a new character. And then he'll show me the image, he'll pitch it to me for like 10 minutes, and I'll just kind of stand there staring at him for a second, and he's like deathly afraid that I'm gonna say I don't like it.
Yeah,
but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, that's our first Patreon audio update thing. I hope you enjoyed it. The next ones are almost definitely gonna be shorter because we had 6 characters to talk about today and like the whole process and everything. So yeah, take care everyone.